First night in Leipzig done. The hostel I'm staying at is really, really cool. It's on average something like 10 to 13 euros a night, which is pretty cheap. We get in a 4-bed mixed dorm. We get a bathroom in there, which isn't always that common for hostels, especially not the ones I've stayed in anyway, in Australia. But so far, it seems like a really nice hostel. Big kitchen space. There was a guy in there who woke me up a few times because he seemed to have some extreme diarrhea. And it sounded like it was New Year's Eve coming from the bathroom, which was situated right next to my bunk. And he didn't necessarily close the door after he'd finished his business. So arrived at about 6 yesterday, and the lights were off in the hostel room, and there was someone asleep. Which I get, you know, people are there for different reasons. Some people are in hostels not for a holiday, some people want extreme reasons, some people are in there because they work. Maybe it's that guy that's shitting himself and he's not very well. I don't know, but it's not ideal when you get off a plane, arrive to your hostel in a country or a city that you've never been before, and you can't even take a look for your bag really, because you just feel awkward. Or maybe it's my fault for feeling awkward, but I never really complain when people make noise in my room. I'm not quiet, so maybe I should just stand up for myself and just wake the fucker up. And then we have to do some German history today, which you could probably work out what that might be. Wasn't expecting to bump into a larder. My friend Jonathan showed me about these beers yesterday. These guys. This whole case is 14 euros. It's nuts. This little pack of liquor shots, God knows. I have to find out exactly what these are, but $3.99 for all of those. It's just not comparable. Alcohol. Fireworks.
And I know it's very a little bit flat to ask, but
Guten Morgen from Leipzig at the Five Elements Hostel. Lucky for me today, some of the people that I was sharing the room with have decided to leave, which is fine by me, because one of them was absolutely destroying the toilet on a regular basis, making some very strange noises, and I haven't seen him out of bed in the 2 days I've been here. So this is the first time I've been able to actually turn the light on in here and get ready and actually have some privacy. I know I shouldn't really expect that. It is a hostel, but there are, you know, everyone's got their limits. And hopefully we've got a bit of an interesting one today. I was talking to one of the girls that works here at the hostel bar last night, asking for recommendations of where to go. And she wrote me a list of places to visit, specifically in the east of the city. Now, I'm not even going to try and butcher this, but this street she told me to go to, and there's all this stuff down there, including a pub that you can find certain things at. Now, however, she told me that this street has a bad rep and people don't really want to go there. People try and avoid it because they're worried. Sounded like more of a diverse area, perhaps more multicultural, and she seemed to think it's perfectly safe and perfectly fun to go to, if not her favourite area to go to. So I popped that a message to my friend Jonathan, who lives here in Leipzig, and he told me under no circumstances to go there, as I could be mugged. And he sent me a photo of a car which had been graffitied. Two conflicting reports of this place. One of them I think the girl wasn't from Leipzig, so she's effectively a tourist even if she works here, telling me to go, and a Leipzig local telling me not to go. So I feel like I kind of have to go and check for myself. So we're going to take a wander today. I think it's probably best to get a tram, but I fancy a little walk through the town as we've not got too much to do this morning. So let's try and walk up there and see what's really going on for ourselves. It's always pretty cool with the snow coming down, walking around a city that you've not been to before. It's snowing and it's cold. It's at least -1. We're going for about a 40-minute walk to try and find this most dangerous street. So I'll make sure we're nice and warm. It's always interesting to see how other countries do McDonald's differently. Green tea. And I've got a bacon and egg McMuffin, which is pretty standard, and a big morning farmer, which I think is just basically the same, but a farmer's roll. Is that a sign that this area is going to be rough then? We've got a missing cat poster and we've got some abandoned bras and sportswear. So it's not a great sign, is it? But it's only 2 blocks away, so it's like an abandoned, I don't know if it's an abandoned club or something, but it's just covered in posters for like dance events. But they're like been here for years. Yeah, I have to say, it doesn't particularly come across as a dangerous street. I don't really know what all the fuss is about. It is Sunday and it is snowing, so I'm sure there's a lot more life here in the week or in the evenings. But walking around it, it's definitely a bit run down. A lot of like posters and graffiti that clearly have been here for years. Like this bar's got a sign on it saying no cannabis. It's like a cafe, so they actually have a sign saying you can't smoke weed there. As I was telling me yesterday, there are some places that are weed friendly, so you can go in them and smoke, and some you can't. So that's quite interesting. They have a sign on the front, because I don't know the actual legality of that. If that is a legal thing that you can legally smoke in there, if it's just they allow it and it's tolerated. But no, certainly not. Strictly looks scary. I think it is mostly probably racism to some extent, because there seems to be a lot of, like Turkish hairdressers and kebab shops. So I think it's just that there's a lot of Turkish people here and obviously some other nationalities, and people have just run with that. Because I mean, in some parts of London, like being more graffitied and stuff, we just call that Camden. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. First time in some time that someone has set this dumpster well and truly on fire. Probably more concerning, that's just been left there. It doesn't look like it's happened particularly recently. I have now walked past the bar. There are people there, so I didn't have the opportunity to take a photo of it. But they had a picture of a gorilla smoking a joint, so I imagine that's one of the bars where you can get some grass if you want to. Now, I don't want to make assumptions. We're saying this often like rumoured, in the UK anyway. We have an endemic of barbershops open, cash-only barbershops. And more of them open because they effectively launder money for gangs that sell drugs, you know, in or around London. Now, one thing I have noticed with this street is I've walked past about 8 hairdressers so far. They're all, you know, medium-sized, 3 or 4 chairs. It's probably the sort of thing that I can't imagine that many people are getting a haircut. So I wouldn't be shocked to find out if it's something similar here, because even if cannabis has been decriminalised to an extent, doesn't mean other drugs have been. So if you do sell a lot of cocaine, you do need to find a way to make that money clean so you can spend it. So that could be why there's so many barbershops here. A lot of cafes selling like baklava, a lot of space in doner kebab, a lot of places. They do seem to be open already. It is 11 o'clock on Sunday, but I'm shocked at how almost repetitive the street is. It is just kebab shops, cafes, and hairdressers over and over again. It seems strange there'd be so much demand, especially as the rest of Leipzig so far hasn't seemed particularly multicultural. Hardly multicultural at all, really. Just stopped to get a drink. Got some cash out, got a drink because we've been walking for a while now. And rather weirdly, the guy in the small shop, there's not very many open, so I know a small corner shop, just picked up a can of Sprite and I tried to hand the guy 10 euros, and he kind of like stopped me just to tell me it was going to be €2.30, and even got it out on a calculator and typed out and showed me exactly what it's going to cost, which I don't know if he was just being very transparent, but it made it seem more suspicious. Almost like he was warning me that it's expensive. That does seem quite expensive. I paid €3.50 for a beer yesterday, so €2.30 for a regular can of Sprite. Doesn't quite make sense, but maybe that's the way it is. It looks like antique electronics shop or something, but I mean, it's all like, they've got like hockey from 2017. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, in the end, I don't know if I'd class that as a particularly dangerous street. Certainly not compared to London anyway. But that was Leipzig's most dangerous street. Something that seems to be quite common in Leipzig is people have just been setting off fireworks at night. I suppose as much as they certainly do all over the place, but it seems to be like quite large amounts just released in public. My friend was telling me quite often people also bring in unregulated fireworks that they've bought from neighbouring countries that they drive over the border. I've seen some videos of some of these. Some of them aren't even designed to fly away as a typical firework would. They're more of just a bomb, really. But overall, it's quite interesting because obviously all over the world you'll find antisocial behaviour or acts of rebellious youth, and stuff like those used fireworks obviously stand out. But overall, it seems like a very, very calm place with not a lot of antisocial behaviour. There's certainly graffiti in some areas, but you know, I've walked around quite late every night I've been here. I don't know if perhaps it's the time of year or the weather, but it's been very quiet. But to be honest, the majority of people I've seen out and about at night, people, you know, in their 40s through to their 60s, at restaurants and bars and walking around the city. Haven't seen very many people that, you know, between the age of 16 and 25. But overall, it's a very quiet, very composed city. You know, everyone seems to be fairly private. They keep themselves to themselves. Don't attract much attention. It seems quite nice. It's quite a nice way of doing things compared to like a hectic city. Oh, there's some more fireworks packaging. So it just seems to be they let off a lot of steam through fireworks and then just revert to being quite nice and calm. and relaxed again. So it's interesting. Certainly feels like a net positive with all things taken into consideration. So in fact, in Germany, in the New Year's Eve fireworks, 4 people were actually killed, and there was a warehouse fire died across the country at different New Year's Eve celebrations, and fireworks was presumed to be the cause of a large warehouse blaze. Well, the public even went as far as to bombard police with fireworks in several cities, so it's clearly so they take quite seriously here, and perhaps seem to quite enjoy using them on the streets rather than organised displays that you might have. I'm not sure if they do have those here, so I would assume they do, and I would assume that it's just younger people, perhaps that are bored, that can use them in the streets. But it does seem to stand out in contrast to the current modern German culture. But everywhere you go, people will always rebel and act out against their elders, I suppose. This is something I wouldn't have expected to bump into in a park. I'm in like the central park in Leipzig, and I've just found a Liam Payne memorial. Not something I expected to bump into in a park, I have to be honest. Right, okay, so we've walked around the park, the other side, to a bit of Leipzig that we've not been to before, and it felt like it was time to pop in a supermarket and try some German beer. Plenty from the shops, from the couple of pubs this weekend. Sorry, try this one. But we've got a couple of options. Start off very light, sort of a Radler. Now this is basically, put this down, basically a shandy. It's you know, they're only 2%, not strong, but that's not necessarily the point. Alcohol's not always about getting really drunk, so let's give it a go. Okay. Whoa. Oh, that's really... Oh, it's quite tart. That's way more lemony than I was expecting. It's not, it doesn't necessarily taste like it's mixed with lemonade, it just tastes like it's mixed with just like lemon concentrate almost or something. That's quite nice. How much would it be quite refreshing if it wasn't, you know, if there wasn't snow on the floor, but... While we're here trying new things, I've come across these bad boys. Lay's KFC original recipe. I'll go for some KFC right now actually, but this will have to do. Let's give these a whirl. I had these in my bag for a day or two. Just wait for the opportunity to try them. And actually, I don't often feel like I crave KFC flavoured crisps, so I have forgotten about them, but let's give it a go. Very peppery. That's a waste of money. Just to round things off, I'm spending my last evening in a lovely Irish bar right by the Hostel. I come back here because, to be completely honest, the chips were so good when I was here the other day. Come back here. No comment on if the food was good. The music is fantastic. I thought I'd just pop in and just watch the Wolves Forest game, just to check out my fantasy football team. But it's been a wicked time here in Leipzig. Highly recommend it. If you think about coming here, definitely come in for a weekend. It's fantastic. So much stuff to do, lovely people to see, and if not knowing German is concerned, so many people here are quite welcoming, and they do speak English and will be more than happy to help you out with anything if you need it. So highly recommend it here. Had a fantastic weekend. Back home.